You've certainly won her over completely. Tell me something. How'd you do it? Was it tea and sympathy, or perhaps a little moonlight and roses? I'm sorry, Logan. Why do you have to be so hard on me? I know I've done a lot of rotten things in my life, but I'm different.
Different? That's funny. I look at you and see exactly the same woman I made the mistake of marrying.
If you see the same woman, you must still want me.
Oh, Raven. All I want from you is that you take very good care of Jamie until this custody suit is settled.
All right. All right, I will return him to you in good condition. There, you see, I admit it. You win and I lose. Here's the letter. Let me see that. That's a forgery!
Oh, it's the real letter,
forgery.
Raven.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, by the corner.
Write this down. I'm going to go get it.
All right. It wasn't deliberate, Logan.
Not deliberate? You're not going to get away with this. I'm going to find that letter. I'm going to make you eat it in open court.
Raven, you planned this whole thing, didn't you? I mean, you didn't want Logan up here to talk about any letter. It was all part of your little scheme.
You don't think I was really going to let Logan keep that letter, do you?
Oh, he'll keep it, Raven. He will find it, he will pick it up, and he'll keep it within 5 minutes.
Well, how could I have planned this? If I had planned this, I would have picked a plan that worked.
Well, what did you expect? That the wind was going to carry your letter right over the river? My God, you are contemptible.
Spare me your speeches. If you were in my shoes, you'd do the same damn thing.
If I were in your shoes, I never would have abandoned my baby to begin with.
So you think I'm doing this whole thing just to hurt Logan?
The idea did occur to me.
Oh, you can't possibly believe that I love Jamie just as much as you love Julia.
Well, I don't know how that exactly is supposed to be meant now. Is that a compliment to you or an insult to me?
He is my son. He's my own flesh and blood. Of course I love him.
This time, spare me, Raven.
It's true. At heart, we're the same. You would kill for your child, and so would I. Haven't the things that I have done to get Jamie back and keep him proven to you my sincerity?
All that has proved to me is that you will bend over backwards to cause a lot of trouble for a lot of people.
Well, I am going to keep custody of Jamie. And you can bet every cent that your mama gave you on that.
Do you know, Raven, I have never met anyone like you in my whole entire life. No one can run that hot and that cold. The first year of your baby's life, you couldn't even acknowledge his existence, and now you expect me and everybody else to accept the belief that that baby is the driving force in your life? What is it? Tell me, what is it that you stand to gain from all of this?
All of those months in London, without my baby, made me realize how much I needed him. Now I have to go, because if Logan doesn't find that letter, he's going to throw me off the terrace. Before I go, though, I have to ask you one more favor.
I don't believe you. You honestly do not know when to quit.
Well, forget it. What's the use anyway? You're on his side. I don't have a chance. It's just that I thought you would understand.
Where are they taking him, Molly?
County General, I suppose, until we have time to make arrangements for the funeral.
We will have to do that.
Molly and I will take care of those details.
I just can't believe it. I can't believe that my father is dead. I miss him already. And I know I'm just going to miss him more and more.
I wish there was something I could do. Something I could say to take away this pain. But I can't, Emily. All I can do is just to be here with you. And to hold you.
Oh, please don't let go.
Go ahead. If you want to cry, just let it all out.
I don't think I'll ever forget the way he looked lying on those stairs.
I talked to the paramedics, and they said it was a massive coronary. There was no prolonged pain.
Yeah, this shouldn't come as a shock. It had to happen. It was just a matter of time.
Did Dr. Gault tell you that?
Yeah, in a way. When he came back from seeing that cardiologist in Chicago, he kept reassuring me that everything was fine, but I could see it was getting worse.
He didn't want to worry you.
And then this last month, he's been so concerned about my future, about what would become of me after he was gone. I knew then that it was just a matter of time before this happened.
Miss Emily, your father had every reason for his concern.
What did he tell you, Molly?
That he was afraid history was going to repeat itself.
What do you mean?
It was because of you, Kirk. He was afraid that you were going to do the same thing you did 10 years ago. Walk in here, win his daughter's heart, only to disappear into the night and break it.
Kirk would never do that now.
It seemed only a matter of time to him before Kirk would run off again, leaving his wife and his responsibilities just as he did before.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I ever say or do anything that would make Dr. Gault think like that?
And so he was worried, Miss Emily, that you would be abandoned again, but this time without the comfort and help of a father. That's what was on his mind ever since Kirk came back. That's what he was afraid of, and frankly, that's what I'm afraid will happen too, am I right?
I care about Emily very much, and the thought of abandoning her never entered my mind.
I wish I could be sure.
Why do you doubt him, Molly?
Because he fooled you once, Miss Emily. Mr. Michaels has slightly less than a respectable background.
Well, I don't have any background. Look, I don't know what I did 10 years ago. I don't know what I did during the 10 years, but I'll tell you this. The man that's standing here in front of you right now would never cause Emily any pain.
I believe him, Molly, and you should too.
Believe anything, Miss Emily, and I have got to try to look after you.
Look, I don't have a memory, but I do have feelings.
You care for Miss Emily and no others?
Of course I care for her, and I would never, ever hurt her.
See what a kind man he is? No, can't you see that he means what he's saying?
Emily is my wife, and I accept that obligation.
You owe her no less, young man, and don't you ever forget it.
And don't you have any doubts about it. You know that I'd never leave you.
Yes, I know that.
Your father is dead, but I'm here, your husband. I'm here to look after you, to comfort you.
And I'll always be here for you. You see, Molly, that's what a real marriage is all about.
Wherever I go, you'll go.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I love you so much.
Satisfied now?
Well, I just have to be sure you understand.
Yeah, I understand.
Now that that's settled, I could do with another cup of coffee. Can I get anybody anything?
Yes, Molly, thank you. I'll have some tea.
Yes, of course, Miss Emily. I won't be a minute.
Well, look who's home.
Well, I do live here, I think.
Well, with your schedule, it's not often that you get home ahead of me. What was it, a slow news day?
Well, I had an interview over at Clay Ridge with Congressman Watterson. Oh. And it turned out to be rather brief. So I thought it would be rather foolish to go all the way back into town. I decided to call it a day and come home.
You had a brief interview with Joe Watterson? That's news in itself.
Yeah, he didn't seem too inclined to discuss the payoff he allegedly took.
No wonder.
So, I hope you're not too hungry. Because even though I was home early, dinner's going to be a little late. Thank you.
Well, I hope that's because when you got home, you decided to take a nap. You've been moving at too fast a pace lately.
No. Honey, tonight I wanted our dinner to be special. So...
Oh, how pretty. But you shouldn't have gone to all that trouble, Nancy. Although I'm sure Kelly and I will appreciate every single bite.
Well, I just wanted it to be nice. I mean, we're having appetizer, soup, salad, entree, dessert, because I want this meal to be one where we can have much conversation through the evening.
Now, that does sound very pleasant.
Okay. Honey, with that young man here, the house has taken on a whole new warmth.
You've really taken to young Mr. McGrath, haven't you? Oh, speak of the devil.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Kelly. Hi, Uncle Mike. Kind of got messed up on the bus schedule and missed the express. You weren't waiting on me to start dinner, were you?
No. Not at all. Welcome home.
I hope you're hungry, Kelly. Nancy tells me that the dinner this evening is for non-dieters, strictly.
Hey, great. I'm glad I skipped lunch.
Oh, why did you do that?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I just got caught up in my sightseeing and forgot I was hungry.
Did you enjoy your excursion?
Yeah, it was a real nice day. Real clean city. You know, people smile at each other when they're going down the streets. I like that. I like that a lot.
Did you happen to see the Museum of Fine Arts? Or, what else, the Botanical Gardens?
No, I'll catch the culture loop next time out. Actually, I spent most of the afternoon just walking around the downtown area and getting familiar. Sat in the park for a while and soaked up a few rays and got some sun, that is.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Actually, the most exciting thing I saw today was the fact that new disco is going to open up tonight. I bet that Unicorn Club's going to be a real hot spot.
So, tonight's the big opening,
Yeah, I figured you two would know about that. Didn't you tell me that you were familiar with the place, Uncle Mike?
Although I've never been to the Unicorn, Kelly, I do know quite a bit about the place.
I'm not following you here.
Well, it was part of what would have been an inheritance of one of Mike's clients, a young woman who was a very good friend of ours.
We've mentioned April Scott's name to you, I think.
Oh, right. Draper Scott's widow. Yeah.
Well, the club was intended to be given to her, but through a legal oversight, it wound up in the hands of her mother's ex-husband.
It's too bad. The way discos are, that place could be a real gold mine.
Well, I can't say that I would feel sorry if it wasn't successful, because it just doesn't seem right that Elliott Dorn should profit from April's loss.
Sounds like you don't like the guy, Aunt Nancy.
Let's just say that he's caused a few people we know a great deal of heartache.
I met him this afternoon. Seemed like a real nice guy.
Oh, yes, he's very charming. No two ways about that. It's just that some of his qualities well, they're not too redeemable, is it? I'd rather not get into it right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about going back and seeing Mr. Dorn, but since you disapprove of the man, so I guess I'd just better forget about it.
Well, what was it that you were going to see him about?
Well, when I worked in London, I had a disco job there. And
I thought you dealt only in puppets.
Oh, no, the job I had there had nothing to do with puppets. Actually, I worked as a waiter, and sometimes he let me work the lights on.
Oh, excuse me. Hello?
Hello, Nancy. It's Geraldine.
Oh, Geraldine, how nice to hear from you.
How are things going for you, my dear?
Well, just fine, thank you. And with you?
Professionally speaking, they couldn't be better, I'm happy to say.
I'm glad to hear that.
However, the personal difficulties that Logan and I are going through right now make it difficult to have much pleasure in much of anything.
Yes, I know. You've been going through quite an ordeal.
Well, I didn't call you to cry on your shoulder. Actually, I called to talk to that young nephew of yours if he's around.
Kelly?
What? Nicole has told me some very nice things about him, and I'd like to see for myself if he lives up to his reputation.
Oh, well, yes. Would you hold on, and I'll get him. Kelly, this call is for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Thought I was a stranger in town.
This lady is a very dear friend of ours, and she's also the general manager of our local television station.
Wonder what she wants with me.
Well, one way to find out.
Okay. Hello, Mrs. Saxon. This is Kelly McGrath.
The Kelly McGrath, star of Stage, Screen, and the Children's Ward of Monticello General.
I guess you heard about the show I put on.
I also heard you were such a hit that by popular demand you have been invited back for a return engagement.
Yeah, the kids really seemed to like it, and I really enjoyed entertaining them.
Well, Nicole Cavanaugh has told me that you are a very talented young performer, and I'd like to catch your act sometime, Mr. McGrath.
Well, Mrs. Saxon, I'm sorry. I don't know exactly when I'll be performing next.
Wouldn't you consider performing for an audience of one?
You mean an audition?
Well, after all, WMON is just a small local station. It would be quite a feather in our cap if we could develop and find a young, talented performer before the networks scoop him up.
Hey, I don't know what to say.
Well, I hope you'll say yes, so we can get around to the business of arranging a time for an audition.
Yes, sure, any time's fine with me.
Well, what would you say to this evening? Is that convenient?
Fine, I'll be there as soon as I can. I mean, we'll be there as soon as I can.
I'll look forward to it then, Kelly. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Come in.
Hello, Geraldine.
Logan, what a nice surprise.
I'm not interrupting anything, then?
No, dear. Come in and sit down. What are you doing here?
Misery loves company, I guess. I'll tell you right now, a sold-out crowd at the stadium wouldn't be too much comfort to me.
What's happened? Or should I say, what has Raven done now?
She won another round.
What do you mean by that?
Before I could get my hands on that letter she wrote, she made a last-minute appeal to April, and April called me, suggested I come over to her place. The three of us could sit down, talk about it, find a civilized solution to our problem.
And?
Well, while we were in the middle of our get-together, Raven got her hands on the letter. Accidentally dropped it off the terrace.
Oh, good Lord.
Ran down to the street, see if I could find it, but I didn't have any luck. Probably halfway to Chicago by now.
Now, Logan, this may seem like a setback, but it's not the end of the world.
If I had that letter, if I had it, my case would be airtight.
Well, April knows very well what's in that letter. All she would have to do is take the stand in your behalf and explain to the court exactly what's in that letter.
No, I told her I wouldn't do that. I mean, she's got enough problems of her own right now. I'd hate to put that kind of pressure on her.
Of course, that's a decision you'll have to make, but one thing I wouldn't do is give up hope.
Yeah. It's just, I wonder when it's all going to end, you know? I mean, some days I feel like I'm going to be walking around with my stomach in a knot for the rest of my life.
I'm so excited, I don't know if I can eat.
Kelly, you have nothing to worry about. You're going to be fine. Now, please eat.
Never been to a real audition before. I wonder what routine I should do. What do you think, Uncle Mike?
Whichever one you feel the most comfortable one is the one I'd choose.
This could be the beginning of my whole career. You ought to have seen the guys when I told them. They were as nervous as I am.
Kelly, before Nancy and I wish you the best of luck.
Oh, honey, aren't we supposed to say, break a leg?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, I'm curious. You said something before about helping Elliott Dorn at his disco. What did you mean by that?
Oh, well, I thought, people would remember the place if they had something to identify the name with, like a mascot or a logo.
Mm-hmm. Does make sense.
So, well, let me show you. Excuse me. Not too long ago, I made this puppet, and, well, I think it's real cute. Meet Yubi, the unicorn.
Well, Kimberly, Charlie, Allow me to propose a toast. To the unicorn. May it soon become our horn of plenty.
Well, I'll drink to that, Elliott.
To us. Hello. I've talked to you.
Hey, excuse me, I'd better pick up some booze, huh?
Would you care for a drink?
No. What happened?
Oh, I did as you asked.
Did you go to April's apartment?
Yes, I parked the car outside.
Did you see the letter come down?
Oh, I dared not blink as I followed its path.
Did you see where it landed?
You know, the way the wind was blowing, for a minute I thought it was going to land in the river.
Thinking it landed in the river isn't good enough. I have to know.
Oh, but fortunately, Raven's declaration of independence from motherhood landed just a few blocks from the apartment. Oh, would this be what you're looking for? What is the rush? I'm curious to see how eloquently you abdicated your responsibility to your son. To whom it may concern, I, Raven Swift, mother of Jemison Swift, do hereby give Mr. and Mrs. Draper Scott full and complete permission to raise my son as their own with complete Ooh, this is hard stuff.